Binky Can't Always Get What He Wants is the second segment of the third episode of the 22nd season of Arthur. And I'm not sure how I feel about this episode. I certainly don't dislike it, but I'm struggling to identify what the message is. I feel like the message is saying that some things are more important than others, even if you think the other thing might be more interesting or more exciting. Something else may have better value. But I feel like the message wasn't necessarily that clear. So I'd love to know what you think of it, what your reading of the episode is, but generally I wasn't sure how it would end up or what would happen, so it was unpredictable and it kept me engaged even if I feel like the message isn't clear. Binky gets this part in a commercial, but the taping of the commercial is at the same time as this cat adoption talent show, which I'd never heard of before, but actually sounds like a pretty interesting idea, where he has agreed with Mr. Ratburn to play his clarinet, to play some engaging music to uplift the mood and encourage people in the audience to adopt the cats. And he wants to do the commercial instead of keeping this commitment. There's also another message there, I guess, about keeping your commitments. If you've made a commitment, unless there's a really serious reason why you can back out, you probably shouldn't do that. But then nothing seems to go to plan for Binky. And I won't say any more than that. I won't say what happens, but it wasn't what I was expecting. And because of that, it kept me engaged all the way through. I was curious to see what would happen, and ultimately if Binky would get to be successful with this commercial. And with what happened with that side of it, completely unpredictable. I think it unfolded really well, and it had some really good messages in it about the fact that being the star of a commercial may not be as glamorous as one might think. With regards to the cat adoption talent show, I've never heard of that before. If you'd heard of it, let me know. Maybe you've been to one. But the point of the show is for various children to showcase talents. George is juggling, Buster's doing something, and then Maria, who we haven't seen in quite a while, and it's really nice to have her in an episode where she's just being herself rather than focusing on her stammer, is presenting these cats to the audience, and the hope is that some people will adopt the cats. Honestly, don't think it's the best way for people to adopt pets, because I feel like a lot of those cats would end up back in the shelter if people are adopting on impulse. But that aside, if it raises awareness for adopting shelter cats, that can only be a good thing. I think it was a good episode. Talking through it now, I can see there are a lot of really good points to this and some really good messages, even though some of them maybe aren't that obvious. But ultimately, Binky Can't Always Get What He Wants was a pretty good episode.